All right, guys, y'all know what time it is. It's the midnight hour. Once again, we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. This show, in case this is your first time coming to the show, it goes from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. The rules are simple. You're free to ask me any question that you want within reason. You don't have to pay me for it or anything like that, Certainly, I hope that you wish to donate based upon, the whole content of the show, not just because you need to ask me a question. I'm here to answer any questions that you have or any advice. So, first off, everyone in the chat, I want y'all to put down what type of cigar or what you're drinking here, okay? We're going to start doing this from now on there, because it seems as though there are not too many people up here partying. This is all about smoking and drinking. Have a little bit of fun, people. Live life. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You only get one shot at it there, folks. So tell me, what you drinking and smoking in there? Just let me know. And so we will begin. I do want to give a shout out at everyone in Fort Myers. After that hurricane, I wish all the best for them. Anyone else in Florida? The storm is up here, actually. I thought I wouldn't feel any effects, but I got a lot of wind around here, so I'm going to hunker down myself. But no worries, I'm still like 400 miles away from the eye of the storm. So let's see what we got here. Scatman, no. Pumpkin spice latte? No. You go back to your kitchen cabinet, you go get some hard liquor. We ain't doing that. No pumpkins. Anyone else that post that they are drinking a pumpkin spice latte, I'm banning them from the chat room. I'm just joking. All right, Pugman's got water. Hey, no worries here. I'll buy you bottles. So you've been a big supporter. I'll send you a special gift there. I got a friend of mine that has his own bottled water company. Anytime you want something from him, I'll get you hooked up. CO Cigar and Ozark drink. All right, there we go, Michael. You're drinking a Body Armor. Okay, yeah, works for you. Steel Reserve. No, Scotty, my trailer's not going to be blown away. It's actually bolted down, to be honest with you. It's not on wheels or anything like that. Plus, again, I'm like 300 miles away. So, of course, I always got to mention all the stuff I have. First off, I got bottled water. that I put in this container. Of course, as usual, I have my espresso coffee in my mug. By the way, this is from my mother, actually, that I've had for a couple of years. She's worked at Krispy Kreme for over 28 years, actually. About to retire, actually. So she always gets me stuff from Krispy Kreme. Tonight's drink, we got a lemonade with a little bit of gin in here. And I added a little extra, lime juice in there and lemon juice. Really good. And of course, tonight, we have a Cohiba Nicaragua. All right? So, go ahead and ask the questions here. Wine coolers. Yeah, order 66 wine coolers. No, we don't do that here, you know. No, all my tires are clean on my cars here. I really don't drive around the Cadillac as much here. I mainly drive around the Mercedes. So, folks, it's time for me to light up. And y'all light up this chat room with some questions here. Blaha, I can literally drink a double espresso and then go to bed right afterwards. I'm just like that. Yes, Body by Blaha. It's a sandbagger, but I have a little variation of it there. I actually use Crystal Light lemonade there to keep all the sugars out. And then I put a little bit of lime juice in it as well. But yes, you're exactly right. It's pretty much a sandbagger. Yeah, Scatman. Whenever you have a cigar, don't listen to what Big Trip says. You got to have a cigar lighter. You know, you can't use one of those plastic gas station ones. So I got 2 of them. Each one also has a cigar hole puncher in it there. That's what makes the big difference between having a cigarette lighter and a cigar lighter. A cigar lighter is meant to give you fire, in other words. Although this one's not been working too well lately. But it should be good enough to where, you can properly light a cigar. Because if you use a cigarette lighter and you don't get enough fire around it there, it's going to burn uneven. So it's very important to have a right lighter for a cigar. I only use Jacassi gin. I only use the finest gin. And I only use the finest vodka, you know. Only the finest drinks here, you know what I mean? Don't go out and buy the cheapest stuff out there. You don't have to get the most priciest stuff. You know, go online, read reviews, go to some taste testing places here. And that way you can find the right one for you. Not just because what I drink may not be what you like there. So you got to figure it out on your own. It's just like cigars. Oh, you're going to bed already, Athens? Well, that's okay. I'm probably gonna end up doing another, coming up with a new 1-hour show probably on Wednesday here. So, just look out for that. I just got to figure out what we're gonna do. So it won't be a Q&A type thing like I do on the Midnight Run. Yes, Pugman, it is purple cigar time. I don't know why it's doing that for, but I'm setting up a new camera pretty soon once I get the cord in there. It's actually the original camera that I use when I started this YouTube channel because it shoots in HD. I spent like $200 for it, and it'll be a whole lot better than this $14 webcam. Yeah, Ukraine's going through some tough times there, that's for sure. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I think that hopefully that whole situation comes to a conclusion. I don't drink Jose Cuervo. I drink 1800 there. If you look at my previous video with vegan gains, I pretty much show the type of tequila I drink there. But no, I don't drink no Jose Cuervo. You got to remember, a lot of these name brand type drinks that you see on TV is usually the most cheapest swill out there. Well, Athens, like I said before, you don't have to get the most priciest stuff there. There's a good bunch of value brands. When I mean cheap, I mean cheaply made. I'm not talking about the actual cost of it there. There's plenty of drinks that are out there that are going to be available. Like I said, you just got to check around, check the reviews and everything. No, it's just a cheap camera. It's one that I pulled out after I left Verizon. It was the quickest thing I can pull out there from my computer. It's actually I would say about 10 years old, so it's time for it to go. My webcam for work there was a whole lot better, but of course, naturally, I had to go return that. So. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're gonna stick around with. Like I said, we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Pugman donated $199.99 again. You've always been a good big supporter of mine. I definitely appreciate that. Yes, I did buy health insurance. I'm with Bright Healthcare. I think it's like $150 a month there. Because if I stuck with Cobra through Verizon, I would have been paying $629 a month there for it. So I went with Bright Healthcare, but I'll probably have to get some more next year because they're filing for bankruptcy there. But that's pretty much what I could come up with at the time that meets all my qualifications here. Oh man, well, hang in there, Tree Man. Like I said before in my previous video, you're here. Like I said, any possessions, houses, cars, or anything like that, that's all replaceable. Not your own personal life there. I want you to show up for the show and everything like that, just like everyone else. So I'm glad that you're safe. Nothing's happened to you. Uh, I would actually, if you have no power, hopefully, if a Home Depot is around, someone's probably already done bought up all the solar panels there, but just try to hang in there, okay? Patron isn't too bad there. Like I said before, the best stuff is not going to be something that you're going to really see on TV. It's going to be something that if you go into a major liquor store and you speak to like one of the old timers that knows their liquor and stuff like that, they can point you in the right direction. They're not going to point you to the most expensive stuff. They're going to point you to the stuff that's made with care. Russia's not going to launch any nukes there. Even Putin knows that if he launches a nuke, that's pretty much the end of the world. Not only that, someone would actually have to. I would doubt anyone in the Russian military would allow him to launch nukes. They're not going to launch nukes just because Putin says so. That's the same with Joe Biden there. The president can't, just to let you guys know, the president of the United States just can't go and push a button and launch a nuclear weapon. Lord knows, do you really want that happening to begin with? So, no, that's just not going to happen. But if it happens to do so, you won't have to worry about microwave popcorn anymore, that's for sure. Cohiba is a little tight tonight there. Oh well, but it's still a good smoke. Very funny, Rob. Let's see here. Cheap vodka mixed with cheap wine. I wonder how that tastes there. Six pack of Miller. I'm not too much of a beer drinker, but as long as you're doing the damn thing, that's all that really matters here. Just no pumpkin spice latte or anything like that. Zan, I have no clue what your sled drag at 4 a.m. Dusty, I don't have Netflix there. That's one thing about me. I'm not going to spend money on any type of streaming service there. Specifically, my Amex card gives me Peacock for free. And I got the Disney bundle with my Verizon phone service there. For some reason or another, they're still giving me the employee discount. So I'm not going to say anything until otherwise. But no, I've not checked out the show Dahmer. But I've heard words about it there, words about it. And as usual, it comes up with this type of racism type stuff. The truth is Dahmer targeted gays, he targeted blacks, he targeted anyone. He was just a killer. It could have been anyone that he killed there. It wouldn't have made a difference here. He just picked easy targets here, just like most serial killers, opportunists. That's why you hear about a lot of hookers and prostitutes getting killed. Well, originally I started in customer service, generic. Then I worked in customer relations. Moved back to customer service for a little bit. That's one thing about Verizon. You move from position to position there. Even a managerial position in certain cases is the same lateral move as a regular service. My final job at Verizon, I was part of what's called core, basically an operations here to where any type of Verizon store or affiliate store would give us a call and I would fix their orders or systems and stuff there, essentially. I also did consulting as well with other reps. So I also trained representatives too. But when it comes to Verizon, everyone is on the phone regardless as to who they are. Hmm. Yes, I actually have a solar powered phone charger. Uh, but if that doesn't help there, you can always get a regular car charger too. Hopefully, Tree Man, I hope you got some solar panels or something around. If not, just try to dig up what you can and just hang in there. Like I said, but if you're going to bed, I'll catch you later, just in the morning time. Just everything. We're gonna always have that replay, so you can always check out and see what was talking about. But I wish you all the best, brother. And like I said, just hang in there, okay? No, Scat Man, I'm not sending any used drawers or anything like that. I'm working on that tree, man. The stuff that I have, the recordings, I can't use, so I do have a better plan for that. But I have to just get that whole situation worked out. I may even need you guys' help there, but we'll see. Just trust me on that. What's up, Ninja? How's it going in Canada there? Dealing with Trudeau there, so forth. Yeah, I think he got himself in a little bit of trouble. May want to zip it up like Biden there. Boy, that was a big gaffe up there trying to find a person who had already passed away. Ew, man. Rikishi? What about Rikishi? Not heard anything about him. Let me look that up real quick. I mean, I don't see any news on Rikishi. I mean, if you were asking Bean Smasher as far as I mean, he's a great entertainer or so forth, but I don't even know where he's wrestling or if he's wrestling at this present time. If he's still wrestling, probably not for long because he's getting up there in age. Half dollar 150 does seem low, but don't forget that I'm in South Carolina. I could have actually got insurance for like $50 actually. Folks, I mean, like I said before, insurance varies by state. South Carolina has the lowest home prices, it has the lowest health insurance and everything. But at the same time, the pay rate here is also much lower than places like California. So you must live in a state that that's more premier than South Carolina. South Carolina is pretty much rural. It's pretty much like Mayberry around here. So, yeah, insurance actually seems low, but I'm actually mid price as far as it's concerned. Well, Ruby Cherry. I'm sure that's not her, but you can crank call me at my business number, but it's just gonna pick up messages there. Don't forget that it's gonna leave your phone number up there as well. So, but yes, I've had people crank call me there. And if you do crank call me, I'm probably gonna put it on another video or so, just like I did Big Trips here. Dressing up and drag to blend in. That's right. Halloween is coming up there. You guys have any particular outfits y'all gonna wear for Halloween or so? I mean, I'm not gonna go and wear any Halloween outfits. I already had the ninja mask situation. Well, genetic profile, just remember, I'm in South Carolina, okay? I'm in South Carolina. Insurance is cheaper here. Homes are cheaper. The cost of living is less expensive than in other areas here. I don't know why they hit that for. Let's see. Well, California Obamacare is like 260 a month minimum. Yeah. like I said, California is an expensive state there, it's expensive as opposed to anyone else there. So no, that doesn't surprise me there. But I want you guys to think, how much would insurance be without Obamacare? The whole goal is to make sure you have coverage for yourself and your family. And if it's pretty expensive, then you got to do other things in life there. You got to have extra sources of income in order to make it. Now, me, myself, even though I no longer work at Verizon, I can't collect unemployment and I can't collect food stamps because I still make too much there. In other words, business-wise, investments and stuff like that, So you got to do what you got to do. Although, like I said, I still have to tighten up the belts and stuff like that because, like I said, I was making almost $70,000 a year at Verizon there with bonuses and benefits. So it takes a big hit to the pocketbook. But, I don't really have that many expenses anyway because most of my stuff is paid off. Yes, Tree Man. Coolio was the first person I went to. The first concert I went to was a Coolio concert. It was at the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium in Asheville, North Carolina. We went to the basement, had a great time. Someone was passing around some weed. I wish the weed was better. It was skunk weed. It had a bunch of fucking seeds in it and stuff. But it was still a good concert, Coolio was knocking it out the box, I don't know if I think I smashed that night there. I may have smashed the next day. I don't remember. I was so smoked out there, That, and it's been almost, how long has it been? It's been almost 30 years since I was at that Coolio concert, so I don't remember. I don't remember much about after the concert, to be honest with you. And that's probably a good thing. Well, good for you for wearing women's underwear. Did anyone ever see that? If you ever seen that movie, you ought to really watch Weird Science. In that movie, there's a scene where he wakes up, gets out of bed, and he's wearing some panties and stuff like that. That's a great classic 80s movie. Not something that you can make a remake of in this day and age there. The bastardization of comedy is, it's not cool. We had a lot of great movies in the 80s and 90s. Great shows like In Living Color and stuff like that. But a lot of the jokes and a lot of topics that were in place, you just can't do in this day and age. New Mexico, I'm not too familiar with New Mexico in comparison to South Carolina. I don't know what their pricing is, but you can always go online and you can check to see what's what as far as pricing is concerned. One thing is for sure, South Carolina is cheap. To live in South Carolina, it's cheap. Yeah, I think Vegan Gains is live streaming here. But stick around with me. Strange Clouds has decided he wanted to go to Vegan Gains stream. That's fine. Be sure to pay him to ask questions here. Either that or you can listen to him. I mean, I can't say much. I mean, he is my third cousin after all, so. But tell Richard I said hey. Wings of Redemption. Fatty. How much is rent for mobile homes in the area? You don't really rent mobile homes. You actually buy them. The ones that are for rental, they're probably run about $300 or $400. But, that's usually a lot of mobile home rentals are for migrants here. There's an area downtown, near downtown Greenville, that has a mobile home park where they rent out of there. It's pretty much run down, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know. I don't go in that area. They don't mess with me. I don't mess with them, you know. But the one thing I can tell you about where I live at, it's primarily Latino in the area, essentially. So, if the closest restaurant that's the closest place where I can buy food is actually a taco stand. So, but my area that I live in is primarily, if you can say anything, the surrounding area is mostly Latino businesses and stuff. So, Andy, you are a wanker if you wank. A lot of messed up people will be dressed like Dahmer. I think they do that every year, so. Let's see. Dusty, you're never too old for Halloween there. You got to celebrate your holidays here. Even if you don't do anything, at least hand the kids some candy or so. There are so many thoughts on Vegan Gains' squat rack that I've actually said. And the only thing I can really, the way I can sum things up is this here. A squat rack belongs in another room. It doesn't belong in a living room. A living room is for living. Pugman, I think you should get it there as far as insurance there, or have some sort of coverage, because you never know when there can be some major calamity or so forth there. Again, as always, thanks again for the donation. I'm a believer as this being a free country. You have the choice to decide what you want to do in life, whether you want to get insurance, whether you don't want to get insurance. Some people choose not to get car insurance here, and stuff like that. That's why I also have a premium on there, just in case people don't have car insurance here. But you have to, Pugman, you have to make the best decision for your own life, just like all of us do, There are some things that I actually pay for that other people don't pay for, like legal insurance, for example. I actually pay for legal insurance. Other people don't there. So, but I do need the legal insurance just to fight off any of these lawsuits here. Yeah, there's been a lot more successful bodybuilders than me. I was not a very successful bodybuilder, Scat Man. I'll tell you that there. But I enjoyed it, and I benefited from the sport of bodybuilding. It's taken good care of me. I've been able to write articles, meet new people, and stuff like that. A lot of people who get into bodybuilding, they don't win any shows like I do. But, they find other things to do in the industry, That's the way it is sometimes. Well, yes, Jason, Vegan Gains does beg for donations because that's the only thing he has. That's his only source of income other than his OnlyFans page. It's always important to have multiple sources of income, I don't want this channel to get to the place to where I won't answer a question just because, no one doesn't pay me. I don't think that's right in particular. Just for asking a question, you gotta pay some money or so forth there. If I was a psychologist or something like that, that's one thing, I just don't think it's a good marketing. But, it works for him for now. It works for him. I don't see it as a long-term solution, to be honest with you. Yes, I heard about that movie Bros. I may actually check it out there, but I'm not much of a movie goer. It has to be a particular movie. The last one, when Elvis came out, I had to go see that. I love Elvis. Who doesn't love Elvis? All right, gonna scroll down a little bit. I'm having a modified version of a Sandbagger, Athens. Not answering that question. Yes, Half Dollar. Men on Films was epic there, and in Living Color. That's an awesome show. Or excuse me, that was an awesome skit there. Which you can't get away with that today. Yes, Mulak, Vegan Gains and his wife has an OnlyFans page. Just disgusting. And that's also my example as far as to, because he doesn't have a long-term solution, he has to come up with other things such as this here. Yeah, homie the clown. Well, Ice Monkey, if you want to just go to a Halloween party just to see some women in skimpy outfits, hey, do your thing there. You do you. Going to Escape Psycho Server. Okay. Let me know how that is there. Let's see. Rent it one for $7.75. I don't know if that's a good deal or not there. You tell me, Pug Man. Big Lenny isn't getting soft. He's just getting old. He's up in age, just like Jay Masters here. I used to be a lot more wilder many years ago. Before there was Vegan Gains, I was probably the most hated person in the bodybuilding industry and fitness industry. Once Richard came along, it made my job a lot more easier. Who would win into a fight, Jason Blaha or Vegan Gains? Let's see. Blaha pretends that he was some sort of super military person. Vegan Gains compares my correction officer's experience to hitting his head on a wall and playing hockey. The only person that would win in a fight between Jason Blaha and Vegan Gains would probably be the referee. But remember, folks, it's always best to walk away from a fight. Don't get yourself in a situation because you never know what'll happen in a fight there, Well, that wind is picking up now, so. Biggest road rage incident I ever had. I had a guy that cut me off there, which I didn't do nothing, but then he slid behind me and him and his buddy started following me. The only problem is that I was headed to work at the detention center. So I went and got out of my car, and once they saw the uniform, I walked up to their car and just said, can I help you guys with something, And of course they said, no, sir. I'm like, hey, you need to watch how you drive there, You're lucky I'm not a police officer, that I'm a corrections officer, and stuff. But the uniforms at the time looked the same. Nowadays they got I think detention officers and correction officers in Greenville and South Carolina, they just wear a polo shirt and pants just to not be confused with other working law enforcement officers. Well, truth one, mine was $50,000 when I bought it there. It was one of the last ones. If you were to buy a home such as mine, you'd probably be paying around $70,000. Although you could probably get some other ones there as well. You can always shop around. So, Well, Vegan Gains has had a lot of injuries, so I think both of them would get injured. I mean that's one thing for sure. But you also have to remember, neither one of these two fellow combatants would ever meet in a cage or anything like that. No, J Masters. I don't think he was insured, but it isn't gonna matter. Whenever stuff happens like that, it's us taxpayers that's gonna go and pay for his medical care. Reading comments. Yeah, I watched the case back in the early '90s. There, yeah, it was pretty. I mean, it was all over the news and everything like that as far as to what this man did there. So, uh, but you got to remember, back in the early '90s, there wasn't no CNN or anything like that around. I mean, there was CNN, but not the way it is today, the where you now have 24-hour news. So anytime you turned on the regular news, they would make a mention of it there. But there was no news, there wasn't no real news channels back then, but you definitely heard about it, you know. I don't eat chicken wings. I mean, like I said, I still follow as a bodybuilder, even though I've not competed, I still eat just regular grilled chicken breast there. One thing about me being, I don't like messy food there. I don't like anything that I have to pick up with my hands. That's just me. I don't like stuff on my hands. And chicken wings is something that you have to pick up with your hands there. I didn't even like doing that when I was a kid, but if I didn't eat my food, my mom would smack me. That's another thing about old school families there and stuff. If you watch the show Good Times, uh, and that's pretty much how a lot of black households, not the ones in this day and age, when you acted up, you got your ass beat. Well, Pugman, to answer that question, nothing. I was a vegan for a couple of years back in the '90s here, so I mean, I still can easily manage a vegan diet there. The reason why I started back eating meat is I met this hippie and he explained to me all about the ecosystem and everything like that, and it's important to continue the ecosystem and stuff. So, not being a vegan disrupts actually the ecosystem. It's important for animals to eat meat in order to prevent the overrun of deer as well as rabbits here. Because if there was no predators out in the field, rabbits and deer will strip the land clean in less than no time. And rabbits breed I mean, really quick as well as, any other animal. You have to have predators in order to maintain the ecosystem. Otherwise, we would die out there if there were no predators. No meat equals suffering. I think that I'm not sure. I think you probably meant no meat, no suffering, and that's not exactly true. You shove a cow out into the middle of a forest, the wolves will tear it apart there. And gazelles out in Africa, lions will actually eat them while they're still alive there. They don't even bother killing them. They just start eating their insides out. So, as far as animals are concerned, I'm not saying that the slaughterhouses are any good whatsoever. We need to. That's why I've endorsed cultured meat because we're in a position to where the slaughterhouses are getting a little bit crazy. They're And they're having, because of the population growing, they're having to take extra steps that can be quite dangerous and just not ethical at all there, to be honest with you. Keep it clean, Athens. Wrestling trivia. Vinny Vegas. Who was that? I have to think about that here. Was that Kevin Nash or something? No, that wasn't. That could have been Kevin Nash. Was that Kevin Nash? Yes, it was Kevin Nash. That's Vinny Vegas. He was Kevin Nash. Yeah, now I remember he is Kevin Nash. I don't know why they hid this question for. Let's go ahead and show it. Bradford, you certainly have enough to retire. But one thing you have to remember, it's a matter of what comfort level you wish to have in retiring. Me personally, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to always be doing something there, But yeah, with what you have, you can retire. Yes, impersonating a police officer is a felony. But remember, I didn't present myself as a police officer. I simply walked up to them. If they wish to interpret me as being a police officer, that's perfectly fine, Interpretation is one thing. If I went out and openly said that I was a police officer, then it would have been a felony. But it wasn't like they could do shit about it anyway. That's one thing about South Carolina. Police officers get a lot more respect around here, So, and, they generally let things slide between, there's a thing really called the blue code there. We watch each other's backs. If you've heard me on Joe Piotaro's show on Muscle Sport Media, being someone that wears that badge there or has worked in law enforcement and so forth, essentially put, we wash our own laundry, if you know what I mean. Well, Athens, you better not violate those community regulations anymore. Well, you can get an older mobile home there, but remember, you can't tow it from. I mean, the thing about it is that if you get an older mobile home, it's going to be a lot harder to tow it there. Things are going to fall off on it, and then you have to make sure that it stays all in one piece. It's always good just to buy a brand new one, because it's gonna, between moving it and renovating it is going to cost as much as buying a new one there. So buy a new one, don't get a used one. Yeah, I remember that too there. I mean, the power of thought is more powerful than anything else here. Twinks, bears, or wolves? Next question. Well, Dusty, that was one thing that we discussed during our debate there. I found it horrifying and unbelievable that, he would want to kill off all predator animals. It speaks against his own values. It contradicts himself as far as that's concerned. So it was Kevin Nash here, yeah. Okay. I didn't know. Well, actually, I did know. I just took a quick guess at it. Just you know, maybe I mean, I'm not even sure how I even remembered that. To be honest with you, net worth versus income, which is more important? Income, and specifically residual income, because residual income is money that's coming in that you've already done the work for, such as stocks and investments here. If you look at Robert Kiyosaki's his four quadrant system there, it gives a good explanation of that. Just be careful of some of his other work, but he's on the money when it comes to that quadrant. But residual income is what you want in life, not just income. Regular income is temporary as long as you work. Well, net worth would be either one of those, Bradford, can be considered as investments here. I would just say residual income in particular there, but it depends on what you designate net worth to be, in other words. Locke donated $2. Definitely appreciate the donation. Let's see. Did Big Lenny help with Big Swole's death? No. I haven't got around to seeing John Bravo's video on Leo, but I'm probably going to check it out tomorrow. I've been really busy today, actually. Part of the diamond. Okay. Yeah, I remember the stud stable there. That's probably where I remembered it. It was just hidden in the back of my head. So, yeah, now I remember. Robert Kiyosaki isn't a fraud. He's a business person there. Some of the stuff that he's done has been kind of shaky there, but, I think overall he's a good guy. I've read his books there, and I've learned a lot from it there. Uh, you're not going to agree with everyone in life there, but you got to take the good parts from what you believe and apply it to your own life. So the things that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki and reading his books, I've applied to my own personal life. It's no different than Tony Robbins, for example. Anthony Robbins. No thoughts on that there, Matt D. I don't have any thoughts on it there. Matt D, this is all about answering questions here. Like I said, I sit back, relax, drink and smoke, talk to you folks here. That's what this show is all about. I will be coming up with another live stream soon. It's probably going to be like a movie night type situation there. I don't want to do the same show like on a Wednesday and answer questions there, because then it takes away from the midnight run. The midnight run is simply that I set up specifically for doing all my Q&As, and just having fun, because, look, on Friday, around this time, I'm going to be drinking and smoking anyway. So why not hang out with you folks here, So it is while this is a live stream show, this is also a hangout as well, Just think of it that way, as just a hangout, Kavan, Netflix, from what I understand, has been doing a lot of these drama series about mass murderers. And Vice has been doing a lot about drugs and stuff like that. But it all goes in rotation, essentially. We rotate back and forth as far as entertainment is concerned. But, they did come out with a new Hocus Pocus too, so. Yes, Pug Man, that's what I was meaning by shaky business there. some of his books tell you to buy other books there. You know, it's like a book. It's like Kevin Trudeau. Kevin Trudeau puts out this book there that tells you to go and buy other stuff there. And that's what I mean by shaky stuff there. But the other parts that, as far as he's concerned, like I said, I've applied that to my own life. But I never fell for that crap about buying a book in order just to buy another book. Well, that's the thing. Kevin Nash wasn't fully established at the time. I mean, you got to remember, he didn't get much training. He got ripped off by Buzz Sawyer. He was only taught. He paid Buzz Sawyer a lot of money, and he only came and showed him some basic falling and stuff like that for one day, and then he ran off with his money. So Kevin Nash didn't have much training at the time, so he started out screwed up, but look where he ended up there. It's not how you start, it's how you finish the race. Well, remember, I've not seen John Bravo's video, but I made a video about Leo's mental state there, and it is quite questionable, especially given upon, you know, everything that he's done, essentially. So, yeah, I would definitely have to question his mental state. I do have to watch Bravo's video to see what he was talking about. Aaron Clary's channel. Yeah, I'll go and check that out there. I mean, I'm sure people share my opinion and stuff like that, but, you know, I'll definitely check out his channel and see what he has there, you know. I check out as many channels as I possibly can. Most of the time, I don't actually watch the channel. I actually have it playing in the background on my computer while I'm doing other work. Ninja. My most favorite movie I've seen lately was Elvis. When I found out they were making a movie about Elvis, I had to go see it. Are you cool with Hamburg? You're gonna have to be more specific there. I mean, I know it's a place in Germany, so I'm sure you're probably talking about something else here. Primal Fear, I'll check. I mean, I'll see what it is. I'm not big on horror movies or so forth. I like documentaries more, as well as mysteries. Dusty, a bachelor's degree in food science and food nutritional is worth it if you have the aptitude for it, though. I mean, it definitely isn't liberal arts, so I would say it's probably a good one. As long as it's not something like liberal arts or hieroglyphics or something stupid like getting then I think food nutrition would be fine. There's plenty of jobs, I believe, that you can get with a bachelor's degree in that. I've not seen Kevin Nash's podcast. You guys got to remember, there's hundreds of wrestlers out there that have podcasts there. There's so many, I will never get through all of them there. I can only take bits and pieces there of it there. As far as his podcast, I mean, I have watched Arn Anderson's podcast there, and it's pretty good, and it's got a lot of good old stories. If I can imagine, I'm sure Kevin Nash probably has the same format to where he talks about his days in WCW as well as WWF. What do I think the next set of stocks that are going to go big? Well, definitely not Verizon, because I lost about $15,000 from the stock drop, essentially. But with the high interest rates that are out there, Mm, the way I would bet on that, it's something to where a business would benefit from having the increase in interest rates here. Uh, but I don't have any stock advice right now. Actually, I actually use the Motley Fool in order to check stocks there, as well as I consult with a couple of other people. I should, and especially I'm probably gonna talk to you, Pug Man, because you was mentioning some of the stocks as well there. So anytime you're welcome to hit me up there. As you've done already there. So. I've already made a video about Leo longevity. I've not made a video about his drama with Dave, but remember, Leo has a lot of drama with everyone. But thanks again. Thanks for the $2 donation. I've never really liked Smith machine squats there because it's kind of like an odd angle whenever you're doing the squats itself there. I mean, it's perfectly fine for doing something like, maybe like good mornings or so forth. But whenever I did a Smith machine squat, it was kind of funny. I didn't like the feeling of that. So. What's this here? Let's see. Yes, Lane Norton has a PhD in nutritional science. Well, you got to remember, most of my stocks are still in Verizon. I have a couple of outside investments here and stuff like that. And I have my E-Trade account. I think I got like a little over $4,000 in my E-Trade account. I played around with stocks more when I was working at Lowe's because I was only making $11 an hour, so I needed to make a little extra money or so forth. Uh, but as far as stocks are concerned, I think it's a really good investment there. It's depending on what you invest in. Working at Verizon, I was able to get Verizon stock at a cut rate price, so I bought a bunch of it. So, what gaming consoles do I own? I own no gaming consoles. The last gaming console I had was an Xbox 360. But yes, when it comes to stocks there, I don't really believe too much in the savings account. Because a lot of savings accounts, now you having 2.66, that's pretty high for a savings account. But most savings accounts, for the most part, don't keep up with inflation there. And that's what I have a problem with. Oh yes, it's a pretty popular video of my apartment there. Uh, because I think it's because it's a minimalist apartment. It seems as though minimalist videos seem to be popular on YouTube there. But I like the apartment there, but the people that owned it were dinglings and stuff like that. Technically, I still owe them $2,500, but they claim that I signed another lease. But that's one thing about these apartment complexes. They like to make money on tacking on a bunch of fees, and then they sell them to collection agencies here. if you get a collection agency, remember that they can threaten you all they want, but they're not going to take you to court or anything like that, you know. Because if they took you to court, you know, they'd have to prove everything, you know. That's why I tell people to get a house if they can. And if they can't get a house, get a mobile home, you know. I mean, I'm talking about if they can't get a regular brick and mortar foundation home, get a mobile home, but you got to get out of those apartments. JC Magic, that's not exactly true, actually. Before I even did live streams, I was actually making about $600 a month on YouTube here. And there's a way you can make more on here. You have to remember that my videos were also tied into other channels outside of YouTube. They weren't just broadcast here, in other words. And you have to remember that I also have websites that have Google AdSense, so they all add to the pot itself there. But Social Blade is accurate depending on the regular business model. If I just simply had just my channel with ads and stuff like that, then yeah, I would probably, if Social Blade says I had 400, then I'm making 200 there. You know, that is right in certain circumstances, not in my case itself there. Mine's a little bit different. You got to remember, I've been getting AdSense income for ever since that it's been around there, which is over 15 years. So. Yes, I did play WCW versus NWO Revenge on N64. Yeah, that was a great game. NFTs are a scam. NFTs are just a scam. You're paying the rights for digital images. I mean, seriously, it's a big scam. I don't care what kind of blockchain shit that they come up with, but NFTs, in my opinion, are a scam. I rather invest in actual artwork, like my Spence picture that I have hanging up on my. Whenever you come into my house, there, I have a picture that's worth about $2,500 that I found at the flea market there. It's better to get real art that you can feel and touch than some digital art. I think I saw one digital image with NFT that was a picture of a kitty cat that was like $25,000. And I'm like, are you crazy? Well, thanks, Matt. It looks like my home looks a lot different than the original video that I made. And I'll get around to making a follow-up video as to how it looks now, though. So. Yep, pug money. What's the most number of people that unsubscribe from you in a day? I don't keep up with subscribers. I don't keep up with the people that subscribe or unsubscribe. If people like me, that's fine. If they don't like me, hey, so what, you know? People have a right to subscribe and unsubscribe whenever they wish. It's a free country, you know? But I don't keep up with minutia details like that. Yeah, I do remember the first time I saw the first Jason Genova video, and I was like, what the hell is going on there, you know? But the reason how I found out with it is because he was working with Aaron Singerman at the time. That's where I first really learned of Genova, to be honest with you. Before then, I had never heard of him. That's what I'm talking about, $50. You know, apartment complexes are going to do that all the time there, you know? Yeah. That's why I tell people, because they try to take advantage of it, because a lot of people that are moving to another apartment there, you see, because I moved to my home, they can't do nothing about me. But if you move to another home, they can go and hold that against you to keep from getting another apartment there. That's why they throw all these stupid fees on you. And also to do anything to keep your deposit that you paid him. Yeah, good old Danknet. I don't know what's happened to him there. But yeah, Dank did a lot of documentaries on him. I think he did one on Big Rob Fitness as well. Would I be retired with a fat pension from the prison by now? Yes. If I stayed there, I would have been retired. Probably about... I would have been retired in 2019, actually. JC is because of his uncle. Genova's under a conservative shift. That's the reason why he's no longer on YouTube. Genova was famous long before Rich Piata ever existed or was ever on the scene. How do I know Aaron Singerman? Aaron Singerman, in the early days of RX Muscle, there was a show on RX called Off Topic Radio. It was hosted by Aaron as well as Carl Lenore, another good friend of mine. And he brought me in to interview me along with Derek Anthony as well, as far as our controversy is concerned. It got pretty heated there, but that's how I first learned of Aaron Singerman. Now, he piddled around on MD in around 2006 there, but he was just a regular poster, and then all of a sudden he just gets all big and everything with RX Muscle. But he's a smart cookie there. But that's how I first met Aaron, actually, or had first real interactions with him. How old am I? I'm 45 years old. Paul Saladino, as far as he's concerned, I don't think he's as bad as Frank Tufano makes him out as here. Everyone has their good qualities and bad qualities, even myself is concerned. But, I mean, I've listened to some of his stuff. I've not found any real issues with Dr. Saladino whatsoever. None that I can put my finger on there, so... Garrett, it's not that pensions don't work. It's just pensions don't exist anymore, you know. No, most companies no longer have pensions. They have 401k plans, which are now pretty much worthless. Kali, you'll have to go back through my videos and you'll see my thoughts upon that. I'm going to get everything organized in a playlist to make it a little bit easier because I have like over 800 videos. It's not a video, Matt D. It's a podcast. And yes, it's still up there. Let me see if I could put in a link here. I'll put a link in the live stream here. Hold on. That is the link for the off-topic radio interview. If you want to listen to that, I'm going to be honest with you. There's going to be a lot of yelling. I love Jimmy the Bull. Jimmy the Bull's a good. He's a good guy. He's that real part of New York, if you know what I mean. I always liked Jimmy the Bull. Good guy. As far as conspiracy stuff is concerned, his conspiracy stuff is no different than what I've heard. It's not at the level of Frank Tufano. Frank Tufano's not going to end up in the psych ward. He's going to end up in prison. Matt D, thanks for the $6.99 donation. I really appreciate you supporting the channel there. Garrett, I can't unmark your comment there because of the language there. But you only need really 20 years to cash out a pension there in South Carolina as far as doing law enforcement work. Most people will still go up to 40 years anyway. So even though that's the minimum, most people will still continue working even after they're eligible for their pension. Yes, I'm Vegan Gaines' third cousin, according to Ancestry.com. But, it doesn't surprise me one bit because my brother actually looks like Richard. His name is also Richard, and he's also a vegan as well. If you put my brother at his age and Richard next to each other at his age, they look exactly the same. That's why I'm not as hard on Vegan Gaines, probably because he looks like my older brother. So I treat him like my younger brother, so sometimes. But on the other hand, he does annoy the shit out of me, but eventually once he gets a little bit older, he's going to look back at his life there and, he's going to realize, hey, I effed up in this area and this area. That's how I am. I look back at my previous trolling back in the early 2000s and stuff like that, and I realize there's a lot of opportunities that I missed out on. I could have wrote for, I'm a pretty good writer. I could have, if I had not done all the trolling, I could have went and wrote for Muscular Development. I could have wrote for Iron Man. I could have wrote for Flex Magazine. There's a lot of opportunities I missed out on because I was a dickhead, and I'm just being straight with you on that. That's real talk right there, No, my older brother wasn't. Similarities in with appearances, actually. My brother's always been pretty cool there, and he takes the philosophy the same as far as drinking and smoking is concerned. It's important to be relaxed and enjoy life there. But he is a vegan as well there, so he's been a vegan since he was like 18, so I don't know what's going on with this cigar. It's pretty tight there. It's a good smoke, but it's just a little bit tight for some reason. I don't know. As far as Frank is concerned, he has mental issues there, He clearly has mental issues there, Dusty. People that believe in that there, the satanic secret societies, I can understand people having some beliefs in it there, and everything. But his is on the level of Mannix there, in other words. His is on a level to where maybe he needs to take a couple of pills or something, or, just get away from things here. But I don't think even getting away, I think he's just completely bonkers. Yes, I do have a draw tool, but it's in the other room and I don't want to leave the live stream, so I'll deal with it. Besides, I only got a little bit left anyway. But yes, it's important to have tools when you maintain cigars. I have draw tools. I have another tool to where I can attach to this here to where I can smoke off the ends. I don't like using that because by the time it gets down to this portion, you no longer get the flavor. You just get nothing but smoke and burn, essentially. And I also have cigar glue in case this thing breaks, for example. Then I can just patch it back up. No, I am definitely not Transform X here. I don't have a real problem with him or anything. He's never done anything to me, but no, I don't have any secret identities on YouTube or any secret YouTube channels. There's only one channel that I have, and that's this channel. I'm drinking a Sandbagger, which is gin and lemonade mixed together. Do I enjoy the Cuban twang? Yeah, Cuban cigars are overrated. The only reason why they're popular is because they're illegal. And people love things that they can't get their hands on that's illegal, that's or so forth. Nicaraguan cigars are the most popular right now. I think it's just the soil and the flavor. But honestly, I like my daily smoke is a Dominican hand rolled instead. But I keep a lot of Nicaraguan ones too. So you have to have a collection of all of them. The only ones I don't smoke is anything from Honduras. I don't like Honduran tobacco. I know there's some Honduran cigars that are 90 points. And it's not like I haven't had a Honduran cigar or anything like that. It's just not my thing. They are somewhat legal. You can go to Cuba and you can take back a couple of them there. So no, in Bradford, Trump actually closed a lot of those loopholes that Obama had, but it doesn't really matter because I can get a hold. I can get a hold of a Cuban cigar at any point in time. They're pretty easy to get if you know if you know someone. In other words, don't forget I used to sell steroids. If I can get steroids, I can get a Cuban cigar. I mean, come on. Embargoes mean nothing to me, Bradford. You know, I can get anything I want there. You know, in other words, like I said, when you've already sold steroids, there's not anything I can't get. So, so I don't think of embargoes whatsoever. But Trump actually closed a lot of those loopholes and stuff regarding Cuba that Obama had actually put past there. And that happens with every administration. There's no real meaning behind it, just to be honest with you. Just simply because people that get Cuban cigars, we're always getting Cuban cigars, whether someone got them for them or however they got them. So it's a non-starter when it comes to that. That's it for the cigar. We'll twist it up and continue to answer questions here. Little tight, but still a good cigar. Mm. Mm. Yes, Matt. Every day I wake up with a bowl of steel cut oats. I actually make it overnight. I take the oats. I take a pot. I put a little olive oil in it there, and then I just put the oats in there and I toast it for a bit before I put 3 cups of water. Wait until it gets to a boil, and then I turn it off. In the morning time, I'll heat it up a little bit, and usually I'll just put salt and a little plant butter in it there. Either that, or I'll just put a scoop of peanut butter in it. So Rightus, hey, how you doing there tonight? You're getting in a little bit late there, but we still got about a little over 30 minutes, so feel free to ask any question that you wish to ask me. Dusty, that's where I get my cigars from. I get my cigars from Cigars International. That's where I get my main stock of cigars. Other cigars I get from a cigar shop like Boda's, or I'll actually get it from most other shops, as long as they got aging rooms. Those are the only singles I'll actually buy. But my main stock and supply comes from Cigar International. They have some good deals there, and the shipping is awesome on it. And they're not selling old cigars. How many siblings do I have? I have one brother and I have one half sister. Okay, I bet you're probably a little bit tired there. Grab some coffee and just stick around there. We still got, like I said, we still got a little over 30 minutes, and feel free to ask any questions that you wish here. Boy, that drink is really hitting me. I put a little extra gin in there tonight, so feeling good. I'm feeling like Steven Seagal right now. Hard to kill. Full day of eating. I'm a pretty boring eater. Steel coated oats in the morning. For lunch, I'll have a grilled chicken salad, a lot of lettuce, get my roughage in. I have these olives there that I get from Aldi. They're very good there, and they're pretty fresh as well. I'll either put a little Italian dressing on it there or olive oil. Either that, or sometimes I'll even put ranch dressing on it. It just depends. Dinner time, I'll either actually have egg whites or I'll have more grilled chicken. On usually I would say usually like on a Friday or an off day or so forth, I do keep some pork sausage that I cut up and freeze. And I'll just take a little pork sausage out, I'll cut it up, and I'll serve it with rice there. But usually at night, it's going to be egg whites and asparagus. I try not to eat too many carbs at nighttime or so forth. And at lunchtime, if I don't have a big salad, I'll have something like ahi tuna and rice there. I get all my carbs in before 4 p.m. Because if I eat any carbohydrates at nighttime, it gives me trouble sleeping there, Who would win in a pose down between you and Janoy? Right now, neither one of us would win, so. Genova has way more trophies than I have there, but I think I outmatch him as far because, my last show I was pretty well cut up in definition. I've never seen Genova in great condition at his shows there, so. I would say I would probably win if we both diet it down because I would be the one that would actually diet down as opposed to Janoy. All right, that's what I'm talking about there. Good stuff. My ex-husband is a big fan of Hocus Pocus there, but no, watching Hocus Pocus doesn't make you a homosexual. And if your girl likes watching Hocus Pocus, then you should watch it along as well. That's a guarantee that you'll be able to smash there, How does a gay couple deal with a flaglit partner? You'll have to be more specific. I don't understand that question. Trouble sleeping? How? Stomach pains, actually, whenever I eat carbs at night there. If I eat them too late or so forth, that's the same with red meat as well. I don't handle red meat and carbohydrates at nighttime very well. I used to be able to, but now that I've gotten older, uh, it just doesn't. I don't sleep well when I have any carbohydrates or any type of red meat or so. So I try to at nighttime. I eat pretty light. There's no real difference there. If your lower body is lacking, then it doesn't affect you building your upper body. But you want to build both of them evenly. You want to spend equal time with your lower body as with your upper body. Well, JC, there's always been predators around. Long before YouTube, long before TV ever existed. There. The thing about it is that we're now in this particular society is to being able to spot predators more easy, you know, than like 30 years ago when there was no computers here, you know. It's just easier to spot predators now than it used to be. And that's all there is, but there's always been predators around and the numbers haven't really changed here. Can I outlift vegan gains? No, I can't outlift vegan gains at this point in time. Have I lifted heavier than vegan gains at his age? Absolutely. I've lifted whenever I was his age. His lifts were pretty light compared to what I can do at his age, but he can definitely way outlift me at this point in time. I don't lift heavy anymore. You got to cut that stuff out when you get older. There's no need for it though. Nowadays I work out for longevity. Yeah, Dusty, that's a good thing about steel cut oats. There's a lot of variety that you can put with them. You can put apple, you can cut up some apples, you can cut up bananas, you can have butter and salt, you can have, like I said, honey and cinnamon, for example. Oats are very versatile. I could even then there's a number of recipes that you can do with oats. You can also make cookies out of it and stuff like that. So very versatile and very cheap, which is why I like steel cut oats. I got a 25-pound bag of steel cut oats for just $32. So that's going to last me for about that's going to last me about a year or two. All for just $32. You got your breakfast paid for. Yeah, Jason has a good upper and lower body. He just never dieted down there. I mean, I'll give him that. He lifts. Genova can lift heavy, and he has a good physique there, but he just never dieted down for. When it came in terms of bodybuilding and where you got to get cut and everything like that, and even I made a mistake of that back in my day to where I tried to maintain my size and everything. And I think that's the thing about Jason. He wants to maintain his size there, and he didn't understand that competing as a bodybuilder, you got to get shredded there. What was my favorite exes movie to watch together? Well, I can answer the question that yes, we smashed afterwards, usually after every movie or went to sleep there. Once you're married, Raw, it's pretty much a mundane situation there. Uh, I think I've already mentioned the favorite movie was actually, well, one of them was Hocus Pocus, and the other one was Smoky Mountain Christmas. He loves that. He loved that movie. I always liked the movie too, Smoky Mountain Christmas. And seeing Dolly Parton there, and stuff. But I watch that every year. Matt, you can add whatever you want to your steel cut oats there. If you just add black beans. If you don't like it, you can toss it out and you can make another bowl of oats here. That's what would happen if I lift heavy at this point in time. I'd probably get injured there. If I wanted to lift heavy, I'd have to work up to it there at this point in time. But I'm pretty well beaten up at the as well. So I would probably get injured pretty quickly unless I worked up and I'd have to warm up. For me, there's no need for me to lift heavy because I've already put on as much size as I possibly can, not taking steroids or anything like that. I'm not gonna get any. I'm not gonna get any bigger or anything like that. I can get fatter, but I'm not gonna build. I'm at a point though where my natural muscle base is already there. I can't build any more muscle at this point in time unless I started taking steroids. It isn't the psych meds, KCB. It's just depression there. You know, depression causes people just to eat junk foods more in order to deal with their depression. It's not a psych meds. Richard needs to relax more. He needs to do some other things. He may want to have a cigar, and he needs to have a nice, good drink there. A nice stiff drink to deal with things in moderation, of course. Raw, I'm not a fashionable person there. I mean, I've always dressed snappy there, because you if you look good, you feel good. My favorite cheat meal would probably be pizza, just a nice regular cheese pizza. That's my favorite cheat meal. I've not heard Return to Forever, but there's a lot of great jazz out there. I'll check that out after the show. Actually, no, I've not been to Canada, but I would like to go. Probably now that I'm not working at Verizon, I do have the opportunity to travel more. So. Am I going to do any fast food live streams? Or if you're referring to mukbangs, no. I think those are kind of reckless. And not only that, I don't like people watching me eat anyway. Whenever I go out to eat, I don't like eating out with friends too much because I don't like people watching me eat. And I also don't want to have to be in a position where I have to talk and eat. I always like dining alone. Just like Nikolai Tesla. Nikolai Tesla, he also dined alone for just for that very same reason because he didn't like to talk and eat at the same time. The only time he would have people over is if they were his sponsors or people that were donating money or for business purposes. But I'm pretty much like Tesla when it comes to eating. I don't like people watching me eat or so forth. I dine alone. I enjoy dining alone. What's my favorite exercise to activate the that's here's the thing, Raw. Train, eat every single body part there, because each body part affects something else. If you train the chest, that also helps out your abdominals as well. Every exercise that is out there, even a bicep curl, for example, helps out the entire body as a whole. So don't focus too much on activating a specific muscle itself there. If you train all around there, you're going to have a strong and powerful physique. But I don't get too technical when it comes to training, you eat when you're hungry. And you train for pain, in other words. You train all your body parts here. And that's how you get that strong and powerful physique. Don't get too technical with it. My favorite type of music is jazz. It's always relaxing. I'm also I always listen to a little Sinatra, a lot of classics, Tony Bennett and stuff like that, Mel Torme. It's good music, big band music. I'm a classic person there. I don't know whether Genova's getting Halidrol shots or not there. I have no clue as far as to what he's actually getting there. I really don't. At this point in time, because he's on that conservatorship there, I would seriously doubt he's getting any anabolic steroids. He's locked up pretty seriously. You're probably not going to ever hear from him back again. So, Pug has donated very well, Raw. And here's the thing: my channel is not about donations. This is not how I make money. I definitely appreciate it. Any money you put in the channel, I put back. Any money that you donate to me, I put right back into the channel itself. There. That's why I'm gonna be getting that camera set up and gonna be doing more live streams. So any money that's given on this channel, I just put back into the channel itself. There. So. Yes, I ate Burger King live on a Q&A, but that was over whenever I put a poll up to say where am I going to eat at tonight. And since everyone voted for me eating Burger King and I was going to go through a drive-through, I figured, hey, why not do a live stream with that? So yeah, that's the thing about Vegas there. Vegas has a lot of great places to eat at there. Usually when I went to Vegas, I'd always go get a meal before I saw Bennett, or usually I go pop in and see Carrot Top there. Vegas is going to be one of those last places to where, you can catch that type of activity there. You're definitely not going to get it around here in South Carolina. I would actually have to go to Cherokee to the casino there in order to see any type of big band stuff. Did I ever go to golf clubs in the 80s was before my time there. In the 80s, I was like, I was still in like elementary school. The 90s, yes, I've went to golf clubs in the 90s there. But I didn't have any particular favorite bands here. I'll check out Crystal Silence here. Like I said, there's so many different things that I haven't checked out as far as bands are concerned. But thanks again for the $48 donation. My ex-husband is Wiccan there. So yes, he does. He doesn't just believe it; he is a Wiccan. He's a Wiccan priest, in fact. So, what would you do if your gay partner has gas? Just not do it. I mean, if your partner has gas, that you're probably not going to be thinking about smashing or anything like that. So. Let's see. It would be kind of weird for me to train with Big Lenny and Jay since we have, generally speaking, a lot of animosity with each other. Although, if I went to train with them, I don't think there would be any real problems there. Just saying. But you may see that one day. I mean, eventually I'm gonna go. I have to go down to Florida anyway. I haven't been in a couple of years, or so forth. So I'll probably run into them eventually when I go back down to Florida anyway. Yeah, people have asked me about doing some videos about, some stories about the time I worked in prisons and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll probably get around to that. I don't. The thing about it is, Raw. I don't do drive-ins there because I don't eat fast food there. I mean, I really don't. I'm not into fast food there. I like proper dining establishments. I also like cooking at home mostly as well. If I go dine out, it's going to be at the Swordfish Club or it's going to be at Roof Chris. It's going to be a nice establishment to where I could sit down and have a good meal. I consider, I mean, as far as fast food is concerned, to me, it just tastes bad compared to what I can make at home. And what I can make at home is more tastier and it's cheaper. I want real food, so, and fast food doesn't provide that. Dale, 537 is still, I believe, in the normal range. You're going to be fine with making gains here. It's not going to affect you're not going to get slow gains or anything like that. I think as long as you consistently train, it's not about how hard you train, it's making sure that you're consistent every single day. That's also one of the reasons why I don't train real heavy or anything anymore, because I still want to maintain that consistency. So if I started back training really heavy and everything like that at my age, I'll be able to do that for a couple weeks, but then my bones would start aching and I would have to stop for a period of time. I'd rather be consistent because I'm at this point in time, I'm not going to get any bigger. I'm not going to build any more muscle at this point. My LD, yes, I keep my LDL under 70 there. It was over, but I take medication for that. But that's typical for a 45-year-old black person there. Black people are more susceptible to heart disease and diabetes, so I have to be really careful about my LDL. Uh, the best way to look into any type of medical conditions is just look at your family members, your father and your grandfather, and see what they had. And my father, he had trouble with diabetes and high blood pressure and a high cholesterol. So I base my diet upon trying to avoid the things that my father went through. But thanks again always for the donation. I really appreciate it. I don't care what Jeff Nippert is at there. Like I said, eventually he'll have to slow down. Everyone will slow down eventually. Pugman has a picture of me. Oh, I forgot to answer the other question. Pugman has a picture of me in there, in his profile, the great one. So, why does everyone get me confused with EDP 4454? That guy's a creep there, especially after that Chris Hansen incident. He's a creep. Don't call me. I am disgusting. That's a disgusting individual. Do I still have a connection for the Total Body Style machines? I actually now sell Total Gym products there. So I actually sell products for EFI Medical Systems through my website caliberfitness.com. But I've always used them. I've used those machines for over 20 years and it works. It's perfect for the home. It's compact. It works out the body parts and everything like that. You can always get a great workout for it. The downside is that you have to be very creative in the lower body, but you can get it done. And the reason why I have that machine is that way I can keep it in my office since I have limited space here, and I can have my living room for the living room. But I actually sell Total Gym machines now, so. Well, it's good to hear that Blaha found himself that he's building up his garage gym, but honestly, I don't give a shit about him, so. Feel like I'd be able to destroy rear delts with it. Can you hit side delts on it? Oh yes, you can hit side delts on it. You can do practically any exercise on a total gym. Why are black people more susceptible to heart disease and diabetes? Well, you have to remember during slavery, black people were treated like animals. We were basically bred and stuff like that. So with that, comes with that's one thing to where, uh, just like any other animal, so forth, that's bred over time. It's going to come up with a couple of melodies. Also, in addition to that, black folks there, they have they some of them still carry on with the same diets as slave food. Not that's one thing about me. That's why I don't eat chicken wings or fried chicken or anything like that. That's slave food. I'm not a slave. I'm a man. I'm a free man or so forth. So if you continue the very same diets as in slavery, such as chitlins and stuff like that, parts of the animal that you shouldn't be eating, like Frank Tofano says, that stuff is not good for you. So it makes you more susceptible to heart disease and diabetes here. Now, I know it sounds kind of weird for me talking about it, but, you got to, I always keep it real and tell it like it is here. But during the period of slavery, slave owners would actually put two people together to have more children so they'd have more people to pick cotton or peanuts or anything like that. It was a disgusting practice, but, what it is what it is there. So, but hopefully that answers your question. It's not something I like answering, but, I have to be a realist as far as to what occurred. And if you check most history texts, not the one that you'll find in a library or so forth, but historical ones here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think Rich Piata was a racist or anything like that. When you're taking a lot of drugs, just things fly out of your mouth and stuff like that. But I don't think Rich Piata was ever a racist or anything. He was just talking out of his ass. So he was under the influence and was just talking out of his ass. But no, I don't consider him being a racist. I mean, look who he hung out with there, for example. Dale, I'm not a medical doctor or anything like that. I would actually, as far as an autoimmune disease is concerned, you need to speak with a medical doctor or physician about that. I'll be honest with you, I would not be qualified to answer that question. And one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to answer any. There are certain medical questions I can definitely answer based upon my experience and my problems with it. But since I've never had an autoimmune condition, that's not something I can really answer. You really need to speak with a medical doctor to get the best advice. Don't listen to any internet jokers or anything, and definitely don't pay them on their live streams, if you know what I'm saying. So, no, I was definitely never attracted to Rich Piata. I'm not big into tattoos there, so I don't, if that helps. Well, Matt, if you love your home gym, that means you put it together right. So, as long as it's not in the living room, remember, make sure that your gym is away in a proper place to where a gym belongs. Let's see, reading comments. Athens, they're going to block it out there, lay of the porno, so. Why does Father, aka Chicken Boy, aka J Masters, say to never eat off a black's plate? You can get sickle cell. He's an idiot there. Sickle cell is another one of those things that stinks again. to the same thing I mentioned before, to where slave owners would breed. Like I said, when it came to slaves, they were treated no different than the animals there. So, with that, you have certain things that pop up, such as sickle cell, as well as high blood pressure and diabetes here. That is a result of breeding. But Jay Masters is an idiot, so. As well as a drunk as well. I mean, he probably said that after having, like maybe 12 beers or so. All right, folks, we got 7 minutes left, so get your questions in, would you? Big Lenny said he wished he was a slave on the plane. He has no clue what he's talking about. Again, he must have been under the influence here. Fried chicken is a Scottish food, actually. Scottish fried chicken, we brought the spice, and now you have fried chicken. But a lot of times, as far as slavery is concerned, and this is something I learned from my grandfather, that, because slaves were fed such poor food, sometimes in order to supplement their diet there, they would, at nighttime, they would sneak into the slave owner's barn and steal a chicken or so forth. That's why fried chicken is a prized possession, because it was something that was stolen by slaves there, Or it would be given by the master during the holidays, essentially. But fried chicken basically is a slave food, technically. Just because of that purpose there, because it's considered prized food, essentially. And I learned that from my grandfather. That's not from any book itself there. What's my highest level of education? College. So I have been to college there. I went to ITT, and then I got ripped off by ITT, and then I went to Ashworth College there. YouTube is, Rich didn't really affect the status of YouTube there. Rich Piata brought a freak factor to YouTube that some people try to emulate there. Uh, so it didn't affect YouTube that much there. Greg Doucette went overseas by a sponsor and he had some sort of hair implants and stuff there. But that's what happened. That's why his hair looks all funky. I told him he can always come over to South Carolina and I cut him up a fade or so forth. Is Jay Masters a racist? Yeah, he's a racist. But he is funny at least. Well, Athens, if you're drunk, then all right. Well, now it's 4 minutes actually, so I may run it a little bit later in order to get all the questions in. If you want to call me anything, Matt, I would call me brother. I don't think Chocolate Father would be. I don't want to be anyone's father figure or anything. Just call me brother or Big Brother Almighty or something. Jay or Big Lenny, neither. And I already know what you're talking about or what you're thinking. Well, it's insane, but that's the history of man. Things used to be a lot worse there. You think slavery was bad? Think about everyone else that was growing up during the time. White people didn't have it too well, neither, even in the days of slavery as well. At least one thing about being a slave there, at least you got a meal, even though you had to work to death. A lot of people just didn't have really anything. And then if you look back many years ago, when the Egyptians enslaved the Jewish people and stuff, or during the medieval age when serfs used to work the land and the feudal lords used to take everything. history is always going to be full of shit there, basically. You know, even history that's being made right now, you know. But, you know, the one thing about it is that if you don't remember, if you stop talking about history, it's bound to repeat itself. So if I was going to share a condo, it would be Jay, because he would at least, I would think that he would at least keep it somewhat clean in compared to Lenny. But I like living alone, to be honest with you. I watched the Malcolm in the Middle episode with Bob Chicarella and all the other bodybuilders. I don't know if Rich Piana was in that episode. He could have been in the episode with them, but I couldn't remember that there because, like I said, whenever I think of the Malcolm in the Middle episode, I think of Bob Chicarella because he's a good friend of mine there, a longtime friend. I don't really think of anyone else that was really in it there. All right, folks, we got 2 minutes left here. 2 minutes. Get a little music started here. There are no benefits really to turkesterone in particular. Like I said, I'm big in ecdysterones here. I think it helps with blood pressure and the inner workings of the body, but, you know, it's not going to give you big muscles or anything like that. There's a lot of great products that are out there, but, you know, a lot of them are over-exaggerated. When I think of turkesterone, I think of the same as those little boron ads in the back of bodybuilding magazine pages there. And boron is a very cheap supplement there, but it used to be sold as a testosterone booster. So when I hear turkesterone, I think of it the same as those boron ads. It's not a matter of lack of empathy. It's a lack of learning there, you know. Nowadays, you know, we keep better records. We have the internet. So it's less likely to repeat history there, you know. I think we've improved over the years as human beings, but we have a long way to go. That's probably why aliens, if they exist out there, haven't visited us, is because we're probably still considered a primitive race, especially when we have nuclear weapons aimed at each other. Thoughts on Putin? I think he's doing a disservice to his country there. And no, he's not going to nuke us, trust me. Well, folks, that is going to be, it is midnight now. I want to thank everyone that donated. I definitely appreciate that. It helps grow the channel. I also thank everyone, even if you didn't donate, thanks again for hanging out with me on the midnight run. I always enjoy having you people. I always enjoy, you know, chit-chatting and everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. A little music. You folks have a good night. Peace and soul. Big fan of Seinfeld, yes. That's all the questions tonight there, folks. Again, thanks again. Y'all have a good night.